In with us on your Wednesday, a weather impact alert Wednesday, as it's been called today, because that wind is the biggest impact. But we know a lot of you normally don't really care about a lot of the surrounding states, but we know you're traveling today, so we're keeping a close eye on a lot of weather that's in our area.
We always talk about this being the crossroads of Indiana because so many people travel through here to get to their destinations. Right. I was on ZPL, the radio station. They're already talking about coming home weather too, because they're looking ahead to your forecast. So I know you've got a lot to get through this morning, because we want to know about this wind today and then incoming weather.
There's a decent chance we're getting some accumulating snow in Indiana this weekend, especially if you're north of Indianapolis. So I'll show you that breakdown. But you might be wondering, weather impact alert for wind? There's really two big reasons why. Number one, you talked about it with the driving. National Weather Service calling even for the potential for some of these semis to tip over, especially the empty ones. Once you hit 50-mile-per-hour winds, when it's a crosswind, you know, if you're going north-south and you have a west wind just hitting the exact broadside of those trailers, you can tip some over. And even if you just have a high-top vehicle, maybe you're in a bigger truck or SUV, you're going to feel the wind tugging at you. Now, if you're going east-west, either it's going to help you move or it's really going to kind of hurt your gas mileage a little bit. So just windy across the state. We could have some traffic incidents and crashes. I've got a crash this morning I'm going to show you on I-70 westbound here in just a few minutes. That's number one. Number two, it's just going to be really cold with the wind. I mean, when you get 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts in November, you know the wind chill is not going to be pretty. We're talking about wind chills in the teens and 20s all day long during the daylight hours. It is going to be breezy. And it's all thanks to this low pressure that is spinning around in a big time. There's also kind of a third little option. A lot of folks have already put out their Christmas decorations. And when we thought that could be impactful for folks, because some folks, you're going to want to remove some things that you know what I'm talking about. Some of the decorations you've got out there, like, if the wind's a little strong, that could be a little something interesting. You may want to figure out a situation this morning before we get to the peak winds, which will be 10 o'clock this morning to about 3 o'clock this afternoon. So secure the inflatables, especially. You may have to deflate those and let them sit down, or maybe even bring a couple in. But everything's thanks to this big, strong low pressure sitting right over Lake Michigan. Stiff northwest winds are making their way into Indiana. We've got a snowstorm to the north. You see all the alerts to our north too. Some of this will be some of the lake effect that forms over the next 24 to 36 hours. There's even blizzard warnings farther north. We're not getting those today, but we have our own snow chances ahead. Today, there's actually a small snow chance. I think some of the outskirts of these snow bands will be able to make their way into central Indiana. We're calling for the chance for a couple snow flurries passing on by. Really not accumulation chances, but there could be a few slick spots here and there. For the most part, today's story is the wind and the cold. So that's today. We're going to also stay kind of cold and windy for your Thanksgiving day too. The system will be close enough, but we're not getting these intense bands of snow. We'll get a couple flurries later today. Here's our next storm system. You don't quite see it fully in range yet. It hasn't fully even made landfall yet. It's going to hit the Pacific coast, dive south, pick up some moisture, and come at us for your Saturday and Sunday, making the travel home, or maybe you're kicking out the in-laws or the family this weekend. They may be running into some wintry weather. But let's start with today, and we'll kind of go day by day. Weather impact alert because of the high winds. Gusts up to 50 miles per hour, making those wind chills stay in the teens and 20s. I mean, we've already had our warmest time of the day. Highs will technically be in the 30s this afternoon. You won't feel them ever throughout the daylight hours. It will always feel like the 20s or colder. Also snow showers at times. They shouldn't be too impactful, but just make sure you bundled up. It's going to feel like the coldest day we've had so far this season. It won't technically be the coldest when you look at temperatures for some of us, but it will feel like the coldest. Right now we're mostly cloudy. We actually had a couple little breaks in the clouds early this morning, and those may last a couple more hours, but generally expect gray skies again today. We've been watching this camera shake every once in a while because of the winds. We're sustained at 22 miles per hour. That's what it's constantly moving at, but the gusts are a lot higher. So let's work through what we have this morning and what we could expect this afternoon. 30s are mainly out there. We're kicking out the 40s. In fact, just 2 or 3 hours ago, we were in the low and mid 50s in eastern Indiana. We got those out of here. Now we're barely to the 40s. Feels much colder than that, though, once you factor in the wind chill. Feels like we're in the 20s for most of us. In fact, I'm looking at all of these really quick. Seymour is the only place that it feels like it's freezing. Everyone else, it feels like it's below freezing. And that's thanks to the wind. I want to show you wind speeds and wind gusts. The wind speeds are what the wind is just constantly moving at. But every once in a while, you'll kind of get this gale, this rush of wind. Those reports coming in 37 miles per hour. There in Muncie, 32, in Indy, 34, in Shelbyville. The highest wind gusts we have right now are actually in Bartholomew County, where we've already topped over 40 miles per hour. Those winds will likely just increase for the gusts, especially this afternoon. 10 o'clock this morning to about 3 o'clock this afternoon specifically, when we think the highest wind speeds will be. But this yellow color shows you where we have that potential for 50 mile per hour gusts. They won't be all the time, but every once in a while you could reach that status. So it is going to be a cold, blustery day today. It's not every day that I have to put a range of 20 to 50 miles per hour. Make sure you are bundled up. I mean, this is a coat, hat, scarf, gloves kind of day. And we're not over exaggerating. I'll tell you what, if you just have a light jacket out there this afternoon, you may regret it. Make sure you're bundled up and ready to go, or you're just running really quick inside the store. Maybe you got a couple extra groceries you need to get. But throughout the entire daylight hours, we'll be in the 30s, we think, for central Indiana. It will never feel like that, though. We'll feel like the 20s. And some of our northern counties, most of the time, it'll be feeling like we're just in the teens all day. Here's a look at future track 13. You're not going to see numbers really change very much, but we've got some snow shower chances that will be out here throughout the day today. They'll just kind of be on and off. We think the highest chance for a few flurries generally will be north of Indianapolis and then also east of Indianapolis, but not a huge deal. You'll just see some snowflakes. Then we look at the long range. Look how the next 10 days, we're likely to stay below average. I mean, this is a really good shot of some cold air as we're ending November, heading into December. Not Arctic, but we do have cold air enough to the point where if low pressures come in, like this weekend, it'll be cold enough for a mix of rain and snow. But I think for your Thanksgiving day, for the most part, will be dry. Some of our northern counties could get a stray flurry, but most times you'll be kind of partly to mostly cloudy, dry, 30s, but once again, you'll probably won't feel the 30s throughout the day tomorrow for Thanksgiving. It'll be similar today. It's just the wind won't be as strong. We'll go from top gusts of 50 down to top gusts of 30 for your Thanksgiving day. So it's still going to be very breezy. All right, now let's move forward. Black Friday, the weather will be a little quieter. Thank goodness. It'll be cold, but at least the wind will die down. It's all about that wind, it seems like. This is 6 o'clock. We start our show on WTHR and WTHR Plus, Circle of Lights. Come out there, join us. Don't leave us by ourselves in the cold. If you bundle up, you'll be all right. The wind won't be too bad, but it will be dry. It's Friday night and Saturday morning. We'll start to watch our next system approach. And if this thing comes in fast while the temperatures are still cold, we're talking snow. And this will be some accumulating snow. There's a chance you could get accumulation, maybe an inch or so. But then look what happens later in the day. At some point, as temperatures get a little bit warmer, we could be talking about rain mixing in at times, kind of this rain-snow mix. And if that takes place, you'll start melting what you already got. Areas to the north could hold on to mainly snow, and then maybe a couple flurries on the backside Saturday night and into Sunday. So that gets tricky. As the system comes in late, though, when we're able to warm up a little bit, it'll be mainly rain. So when we're looking at this forecast kind of long term, this will take a second to load in. We're dry for your Friday, but this is a look at accumulation. Now, I purposely didn't put numbers and I didn't change this legend here because I don't want to focus on numbers yet because they're all over the place. But we are on the edge of things. If you are south and east of Indianapolis, your snow chances are on the lower side. You may not see a lot of accumulation. But if you're north and west of Indy, even if we switch over to some mix, I think there could be some accumulations. And especially if you're driving, let's say you're going north or family's leaving, they're going north, or you're coming back from the north this weekend, it's going to be a doozy of some travel there from Illinois, northern Indiana, Michigan. There are some indications that we could get over a half foot in spots farther to the north. Will that be the case here? Right now, I don't think so. If we'd have to make sure that we stay cold and we don't really switch over to a mix. If we don't switch over to a mix, we could have a handful of inches here. This is another way to look at our snow potential. Chance of 1 inch or more. So you coat the ground. We're kind of near that 50-50 shot around Indianapolis. It gets higher the farther north and west you go because even though we'll warm up, we may stay more with snow farther to the north and west. To the south and east, we'll have more of the rain. So even if you got an inch or two, the rain would melt it eventually. So it's going to be a messy system. That's why we're kind of still in this pink zone. But if the track of the system changes going north or south a little bit, or this timing changes, remember, early means more snow because we're still cold in the morning Saturday. Later means probably more rain because we may be able to boost temperatures up. There should be a south wind on Saturday. So if you delay everything, we'll talk more about mix. I know that's kind of getting in the weeds, but this is what Sunrise Plus is for here on WTHR Plus. But we'll definitely be talking about some crazy weather moving ahead. So here's the 7-day forecast. Staying cold day after day. Leaving for Thanksgiving. Around central Indiana, at least, we'll have a couple of flurries, but the big factor will be the wind and the cold. It's coming home, or you're sending the family out of here. Get out of here. We're going to have some rain snow mix. For some folks, you may want to leave on Friday, depending on how the system shakes out. It could be impactful. Speaking of impactful, we do have travel today that we have to look out for. There's a crash on I-70 West. We've honestly been tracking since, I believe, 4:30. There was a crash here earlier. I've already zoomed in. This is Hancock County. Here's I-70. It's in the westbound direction. You've just passed that rest area, and you're a little bit past Eastern Hancock schools. You're going westbound, and right before you get to the Greenfield exit, this is what it looks like. I apologize for the camera. It is shaking a lot, but this is the I-70 westbound lane. So you're looking east. Headlights are headed west. Every once in a while, they are able to get a car around us. It is tough to see what's going on, Jalea, because it's still kind of dark outside. But my goodness, it is breezy already this morning, and it's just going to get windier.
One of those I can show you better than I can tell
That's
you
true.
times. You can see that camera struggling to hang on there. Your time is 7:13. This morning, Metro Police have confirmed a deadly crash on the city's southeast side. We shared this with you at 4 this morning. We can now show you clearer where this happened on this map here. This is where police say that they responded to a report of an accident on Southeastern Avenue just east of Arlington.